Hello everyone, Bayo Emmanuel Martins here, and with me is my amazing, wonderful, and beautiful wife.
Hello, everyone. My name is Romoke Martins.
Can I emphasize what is the emphasis on that name?
Yeah, I want to let you know that my name.
Anyway, in the last video we spoke about conflict, and we want to really appreciate those of you that took out time not just to watch it, but to make a comment on what you saw. And of special mention is Martina and Deji. Martina actually asked the question
Yeah, she
about
did.
truth and mercy. And do you want to say something on that?
Yeah, she asked the question that are we both of truth and mercy, or somebody is more of truth and the other is more of mercy?
Yeah.
Now, we have both, in a kind of way, but someone has more of truth and the other one has more of mercy.
Yeah.
At least from the observation of the two of us, you know who has truth and you know who has mercy. Like Margaret Thatcher. Once I've spoken, twice have you heard. And the other one is mercy. I say, I shall have mercy upon you.
We know we have to tell the truth in love anyway. So well, thank you for taking our time, and also for DG for shedding some more light on what we said about conflicts. Thank you so much. In today's video, we want to talk about communication, and there are three aspects of communication that we want to focus on as it relates to our marriage. The first one is clarity, and by clarity, we had to come to place. Well, I had to come to that place where we had to have a sit down and say, you know what, if you want to say something, I needed to say it clearly. Don't try to tell me. Just tell me. Because sometimes the time I believe, in my own opinion, the time it will take me to process what you are trying to tell me, you will have just used that time to tell me what you wanted to say.
But sometimes I'm being considerate. Maybe he has had a long day at the office and all of that, and he comes home, he's tired. And instead of the women, you don't just, sometimes it's not just, oh, well, you have to get this done. You come with, oh, have you eaten? Oh, how are you? Oh, how is work?
See, there's no time, because I believe that sometimes it's easier for me to just let me deal with the problem quickly. But I love what she does, because she's very understanding of, okay, this may not be the right time to bring up an issue. But now the issue I now have with that not bringing up the issue is that I now begin to read her, and I'm seeing that maybe she's disturbed by something. Now the rest she's trying to make me to have, the rest goes away, because I'm like, okay, something is not right. What's the problem? And she's like, no, there's no problem. I'm like, please, there's a problem, because I can see that you are trying to tell me there's no problem. So that's the problem, So eventually,
And the way he knows when I'm quiet, like, me, at least from how many episodes, you should know that, although see you is when we are together, I used to talk like this. When I am somewhere, I'm very,
Hey.
oh, I'm very gentle.
Hey.
Oh God, I'm as quiet as a mouse. But
Akika.
but when Nari Akika, but once I am quiet, like I am mute, he already knows that something is wrong. So he has been able to know some of my cues, and then once he knows that cue, or he sees me in a certain way, he comes to me and asks me, what is going on and all of that.
And I also had to learn sometimes that she doesn't need to say everything out before I pick up the signals. So it's like a balance of the two of them. I needed, sometimes I'm like, okay, please, I really don't know how to. There's no time to guess now. Please, I want to solve this issue now, because I want to go and sleep, or maybe want to go out or something. So tell me exactly what the challenge is, so I can just deal with it. Or some other times I'm like, okay, something is not right. Okay, what do you need me to do? Do you need me to take the children? Do you need me to give you some time? And there's sometimes that I just sense that, okay, I think she needs some me
time. Yeah.
So I just say, okay, no, what, the children are going to go with me, or maybe we'll go out and play.
All the ladies, am I the only one?
Yeah.
Are there some of our ladies and some of our mothers, that just want to have me time, like,
space to breathe.
Space to breathe. Like when it gets to me, like when I'm here, like one of our little daughter, as in when I'm like overwhelmed, I'm like, once he hears baby for sale, baby for He say, okay. He takes, her, and he gives me time to, just. So we have our cues. It may be funny, but we have our cues.
But the beautiful thing was that it actually took us communicating to be able to get to the point where I will know, okay, this is what may be happening. So it's easier for me to pick up the signals before she even has to say it. But it took a deliberate approach of, okay, you know what, you have to tell me exactly what the issue is. So from 1, 2, or 3 instances of knowing what were the triggers of how she was reacting, or her mood or her disposition, I was able to know that, okay, I think this may be the reason. So in some instances she doesn't need to tell me, but there were other times that I actually needed it to be told to me. And there was also another aspect of clarification that entailed me saying, okay, we've had this discussion now. I've drawn out 5 points. Which of these ones do you want me to address? Because I observed that it's not every time that she actually wants me to do something about what she's telling me.
You see, the way God has wired us, women, there's sometimes when we are trying to, we're like bringing out an issue or a complaint or something, a challenge. Sometimes it's not, sometimes we don't need a solution. Like, once I'm like telling him something, he has entered into solution mode, problem solver. Ninja, ready to fight. All I am asking for is a listening ear. But he has won his armor as he's ready to fight. And I'm like,
because I love
calm down for Jesus.
I don't want her to be worried. I
know. And that is really, and that's really so sweet of him. But sometimes we just want a listening ear.
Yeah.
And, there are times that we want you to provide solution. So that's where we have
the communication now had to come to the place where we had to be able to differentiate.
Which one needed to be solved, and which one
I just listen and say, oh, okay. Although in my mind 2 or 3 solutions are colliding with each other, but I'm like, don't say it, just listen. So, and again, we had to be consistent. I told you that under communication we had to be clarity, and then there was consistency. Consistency in the sense that we have to be deliberate about how often or the frequency of our touching base. Because I observed that the more we talked about it, the more frequent we talked about issues and brought up issues, it was. I think there was even a time that we had like was it, what time was it?
We had like, and it was, how did we? I think God helped us to come up with something like that. But let me use a scenario. For example, all these companies that are thriving, like literally thriving. Now, before they start their business or their business, the business of the day and all of that, or for the week, they sit down and they try to strategize to see how they can touch base and make sure everything falls in place. Now, those companies are thriving because they come together and they touch base. We looked at that instance and we too started it. Now, it's not the time of, we want to gist this. 7-point agenda. Number 1, we finish. 2, as in we sit down. It's like we're in the office. We talk about family. We talk about finances. We talk about our future. We talk about our fitness. We talk about everything. We have like, family pillars that we are trying to, climb on a yearly basis. So we touch base. It's not gisting, did you see Sister Labaja? Bam, bam, bam. We sit down. We talk like executive, CEO and CES. Anyways, so, and it has helped us to be very honest. It has helped us because everything that we say, okay, we want to do this, maybe it's about family. We strategize how we want to attack that. And when we get it done, even we feel good about ourselves. So it's like, tick, agenda has been solved. Next, we move to the next. Children, 1, 2, 3. We work on it. We create goals. We create strategies. And once it is done, move to the next. So we don't just, there are times we have the time when we want to gist leisurely and we just want to be casual and just talk about life and all of that. But when we are talking about how to move, because every organization has a goal.
Yeah.
Even God had a goal
Yeah.
when he sent Christ to bring salvation to our lives.
Yeah.
Companies that are thriving sit down to have meetings of
Yeah.
how to strategize to make their companies
Yeah,
thrive.
go forward.
How
Yeah.
much more we, we also need to do the same, because
Yeah.
if they are thriving, there is something they are doing, and I'm
Yes.
very sure it
Yeah.
is what, sitting down and touching base.
Yes.
So we too made it a point of duty
Yeah.
that we will sit down and touch base, and we have like pillars and things we want to achieve. So we take them, we strategize on how to make that goal
Achieved.
be achieved.
Yeah.
And then we take baby steps.
Yeah.
Everything is baby steps. We take baby steps to make sure we make that
Let me say something about the baby steps. The beautiful thing about taking baby steps is that after a while, you will look back and you see that you've covered a distance only an adult could have covered.
Oh yes.
Because you kept taking baby steps. And that brings us to the last point, which is compounding. And we've seen that because we have been deliberate, because love is a decision, it's not a feeling.
Yes.
Because we have been deliberate in taking those baby steps to touch base on this, or to maybe even just to say I love you, or just to like, how are you doing? Sometimes I'm like, how are you doing? And just actually listen, not just how are you doing, and then how are you doing, and then actually listen. And all of those have built up. Even the way we communicate is helped us to have more friendship in this marriage, to have more unity. And that, like I said about clarity, there's some things she doesn't need to say. Now I'm able to pick it up. There are some things that I don't need to say, she already understands. In fact, sometimes when we're on the phone and she hears my voice or I hear her voice, if something is wrong, we immediately know that, okay, so what's the matter? What happened? What happened?
Mayday, help,
You
he
know?
needs help.
So and that's the point. That's the what's compounding, like a compound effect. That's what it helps to achieve. So there you have it. In this video, we've talked about communication. Remember, we're talking about 7 things in 7 years. We've talked about conflict in the first video, and once again, thank you to Martina and Deji for dropping those points and for asking that question. And in this video, we've talked about communication, and we've said clarity, consistency, and compounding.
Yeah.
In the next video, we'll talk about the next point of the things that we've learned in 7 years. So until then, keep winning, keep living. All right.
And keep communicating.
Yes, please communicate and communicate clearly so that
Yeah,